Hi everyone, Leah here from EurekaCrystalBeads.com with another fun beading video for you. Before I get started, just a quick reminder to go check out the rest of our channel, and if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and notification bell and you'll always know when we're posting new content. Okay, today's project is a really great bracelet that's going to utilize some components from our Mountain Twilight collection, which if you are seeing this video is now live up on the Eureka Crystal Beads website. The only thing I'm using here that is not included in that collection is a tiara cast toggle clasp, and we do have those available on the website. Everything else here, which I'm going to show you a bit more closely, is included in that collection along with many other fun items. So to start, we are going to have a 6mm Firepolish. This is a really pretty frosted white that looks really, really nice for winter. We have 3mm crystal rondelles here. I have a size 11 seed bead. Of course, I have that lovely tiara cast toggle. I have a couple of wire guards there, and I have a really fun and detailed snowflake charm that I'm going to add on at the end just for a little extra festive fun. All right, let's get started. We're going to be doing a flat spiral bracelet today. Okay, to get us started, I have a size 12 beading needle and I'm using 6-pound fire line, and I'm starting off with a whole wingspan. So that's both of your outstretched arms. You may need more, you may need less, depends on the wrist size you're looking to make, but I will tell you that this particular stitch does eat up a good amount of fire line. So you're going to want to be generous or expect to add on at some point. So I'm going to start by using one of my little crystal rondelles here as a stop bead. It will eventually be pulled off, so don't think that you're not going to be able to use this in your bracelet, because you can. You're going to leave a tail that is long enough that you could stick a needle on it later and weave it in, or better yet, leave it long enough that you can add on your clasp with it. So I'm going to leave about 4 to 5 inches there. And we're just going to go ahead and double back through that bead. And now we have our stop bead. Eventually we will simply pull this right off, but for now it's going to keep the rest of the beads we put on right now from falling off. Okay, so like many spirals, the way that this stitch starts out is you have a step A and then a step B, and you'll do step A just once, and then you'll repeat step B over and over and over again. So step A is going to be picking up 2 of our 6mm beads here. Slide them all the way down to your stop bead. As you can see, the stop bead is doing its job and they're not going anywhere. Now, we're going to pick up what we want our side beads to be. You can have some fun with this. You don't have to do exactly what I do as far as the types of beads I pick up or even the amounts of beads I pick up. You do want to make sure that they can create some length to go the length of these 2 6mm. However, if you want to add more, you can make this sort of bubble out even more if you'd like. So I'm going to start off by picking up 6 of my 11s. And now I'm going to pick up one of my little crystal rondelles here, and then 6 more 11s. And I'm going to go back through those 2 Firepolish, so that way both my needle and my thread are coming out in the same direction. So we're starting down at the end that has the stop bead and popping out the other side. And here's where you can also instantly make a determination whether the amount you have there is what you want. And I'm pretty happy with that. You don't have to have it bubble out quite as much, or you can have it bubble out more for something that's a little bit more bubbly, roughly, loose, whatever you'd like. So now I'm going to turn this way. And I'm going to pick up the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One of my crystal rondelles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just like that. Okay, so that is what we got here. Okay, and you've noticed we've made this kind of little circle-y shape. So now that was step A. We're never going to do exactly this ever again. We're just going to be doing step B over and over and over again, which is going to be picking up a different sequence of beads. So for step B, we're going to pick up 1 of our 6mm beads, and we're going to pick up those outer beads as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. our little rondelle here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're going to let these beads come all the way down. When you get a hang of the stitch, you don't have to necessarily slide them all the way down, but I think it's a little easier in the beginning. All right, and now what you want to do is you always want to go through the last 2 6mm beads that you have in the chain. So for us, that's this one and the one below it, starting with the one below it. We're going to ignore this one at the bottom. The next time we do this, we'll have 2 at the bottom that we ignore, and then 3 at the bottom that we ignore, but it's always the top 2. And if you're familiar with doing a regular spiral rope, this will feel a little familiar. So now we get outer beads again, but we're going to let them sit, make sure they sit on top of the other row of beads that we did previously on the side. And you just kind of pull it to give it a nice little tug, and things will sit a little bit tighter. So now we're going to do the same thing on the other side, but this is still step B. We're not doing a new step B yet. We're not picking up another 6mm yet. We're just picking up our outer beads as the second part of step B. So 6, 1, 6, there we go. And we're going to go up the 2 top ones again. Just like this. And this loop is going to sit on this side, which hopefully seems pretty obvious. Don't get your tail caught up in there. And you're just going to encourage it to flip and sit on this side. Just like that. So that was step B. So step B again is picking up 1 fire polish and then your outer sequence, going back up the top 2 fire polish, including that new one, and then picking up the outer sequence again and going through those same 2 fire polish again. So let's see that one more time. We're going to pick up a fire polish and then our outer beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can have a lot of fun with what these outer beads are. So I have those little 3mm crystal rondelles, but you could have a lot of fun. You could do pearls, you could do Swarovski bicones, you could do beads that are bigger, that are smaller. You can have a lot of fun. So again, I've slid the beads down. These are now my top 2 fire polish. So I'm going to start from the bottom and head up. You know, it looks a little loosey-goosey right now. That's totally fine. Make sure as you pull down, once you get closer, again, you don't get your tail stuck in there, and have this loop of beads be on the top. There we go. Have them be on the top, just like that. Now for the other half of step B is picking up, again, those outer beads. And you don't have to just use 11s here. You could use 15s, you could use 8s, you could use whatever you like. Experiment, have fun. Before I keep going though, I am going to make sure that I've tightened the most recent ones. So you can see how I have a little bit of thread showing there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down on that fire polish, and that's going to help tighten it up before I do the next step. Because if you don't tighten something up when you're at that point, it's not going to be as easy to do it when you've moved on. So again, I go down through, or I should say up through the top 2 fire polish, like that. And just make sure that this loop sits on the other side. So just flip it over so it sits on the other side, on your left side. And again, give it a nice little tug. And that's what we got. And now I have to tell you, these are actually really fun and really comfortable to wear. They're really beautiful texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep doing a little bit more of this, and I'll come back to you in a few minutes to show you what it looks like with a little bit more. And then I will also show you what we do at the end to finish it up. Hey guys, I wanted to show you how I'm coming along here so you can see it's a really beautiful kind of slinky stitch. I really love double spiral. This is the bottom part here. You can see my little stop bead, and it works up really fast. This is a really great one evening project. You could get a few of these done in an evening. They're great for gift giving because you don't have to put a huge amount of labor into them, or they're great for selling actually too, because they're also not really that expensive to make. But that's what I got so far. Every once in a while that one might creep back over, but it won't once it's all finished. Super pretty. I'll see you back when I'm ready to put that clasp on. Okay, we have the length of our bracelet done. And not only do I love the look of this, but I love the feel of it. It's very slinky. And what I want to point out is that for every 6mm bead you have here, or for every little core bead you have here, you'll need 2 of those outer beads. So if you used 25 6mm fire polish, that means you'll have 50 of those, whatever your little accent bead is in that little outer area. So now that we're coming out of the end fire polish, we're going to go ahead and start to get our clasp on. So we're going to go through that little tube on half of our wire guard. We're going to get our wire guard threaded through the loop of the clasp. We're going to go through the loop of the clasp as well, and this will set up our thread to be lined up along the top of the wire guard once we go back down through the other little tube on the other side of the wire guard. And it'll just, and if they don't line up perfectly, just kind of pop your thread up right there into that little top channel, because that's what's going to protect your thread. Just like that. Okay, now you're going to go right back down the fire polish that you're popping out of, and you're going to go down 3 of your fire polish beads. If you can't get through all 3 at once, that's fine, but you do want to go down through a total of 3 of them. Pull your wire guard carefully into place. And now what we're going to do is we went down 3 for a very specific reason, because we're going to pick one of these little side areas to go back up. And I want to make sure that when I go back up this little side arm, I will have 1 more fire polish to go through after that to come out the top again. This way I can go through that wire guard again and reinforce it. So we're just going to pick that little side area that is lined up with that 3rd fire polish down. Because anytime you're using or you're adding a clasp, even whether you're using a wire guard or not, you want to do some reinforcing. If I didn't have a wire guard, or if you don't have a wire guard, you can just do a little loop of seed beads through the loop of your clasp, and that's fine too. I just think the wire guard will kind of blend in nicely to the clasp area, and they come with that collection. That little channel right there. And we're going to get this nice and reinforced, go through the loop of our clasp. Make sure that your thread is lined up inside that channel, and go back down the other little tube, and then go back down again. Whatever your needle kind of happens to pop through. There we go. Just get through 1 for now at least to secure everything. Down there we go on my wire guards. Down there. And this is what we get to hold our clasp into place. And now what we have to do is weave out this thread. So you have a couple of options here. You can run this thread, if you have enough length, all the way down through your center beads. This will be extra reinforcement, but it's not necessary. One of the things I really like about various spiral stitches, like a standard spiral, a flat spiral, is that they get a lot of reinforcement in their core. So it's, if you want to, you can, but it's not necessary. And for that reason, that's why we left that tail at the other end that's a little bit longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to get this woven out. I'm just going to start to tie some half-hitch knots along the way, and then I will stick a needle onto this side, and I will pull off that stop bead, by the way, and I'm going to add on the other half of the clasp in the same way. So I'll be back in just a minute. All right, my super adorable flat spiral bracelet. My clasp is hooked on there with my nice little clean wire guards, and I'm going to show you guys an extra little something something. This is totally optional, but if you do decide to get our newest collection, you are going to get that little adorable snowflake charm. You're actually going to get 4 of them, to be honest. So this is just a really great use for one of them, and that's going to be that we're going to use the little jump ring that comes already attached onto it. And we're going to stick it on right as a beautiful little wintry accent. So you're just going to need 2 pairs of chain nose or flat nose pliers. We're going to swivel that jump ring open, and we're just going to throw it onto the loop of your clasp. And I love little accents like this. To me, they add such a beautiful little touch, and they make something look just all that more special. So that's what we got here. Beautiful little snowflake accent on our bracelet. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to visit us on over at EurekaCrystalBeads.com for everything I used in this video. Make sure to check out that newest collection, Mountain Twilight, and I will see you next time. Bye.